Hey guys, what's up? Back here today with another video. Today I'm doing a response video actually. This is a response to a thread created by Metal Marty Mac that is called Show Me Your Skulls. So if you're not familiar, Marty is a guy from Ireland. He has a really cool channel with a very prolific update schedule, showing a lot of new music and really interesting, eclectic range of different styles and subgenres of metal music. And yeah, I always enjoy watching his videos, and he's also a really nice guy. So if you haven't checked out his channel, I'll leave the link in the description and you can go and have a look at that further. But what he's asked us to do for this particular thread, the competition, as I said, is called Show Me Your Skulls. So what that involves is showing some album covers from your collection which contain skulls or skeletal images. So for the occasion, I've worn my Dissection Storm of the Light's Bane t-shirt with the Grim Reaper on the front. I could have shown this album, but I'm not going to in this particular video. But yeah, this will just be a quick one, hopefully, which is a bit different for me. So without further ado, we'll just get straight into it. So most people are showing, I've seen a lot of videos from this thread and they're really cool. Most people showed 10 albums. I've got an unconventional 12. And I had to be a bit selective, but it was actually a bit harder than I thought, to find, this amount of albums. But anyway, I have, so we'll get straight into it. So the first album I'm going to show, containing skulls, this is Enthroned with Towards the Skull Throne of Satan. So it's got skull in the title, Skull Throne, and then you see Satan sitting on this throne made of skulls there. I've mentioned before in my Enthroned ranking, this is actually my #1 Enthroned album of all time. For, you can watch that video for the reasons why, but just musically it's the best to me. But just really like this cover art in general. It's so iconic, and I think this was done by Chris the Wimp. So that's the first one, Enthroned with Towards the Skull Throne of Satan. Alright, now this next one I actually showed in my most recent update, so this one won't be too much of a surprise, but it's really iconic. The Exploited with Let's Start a War. So this is sort of the mascot for The Exploited. It's an iconic image which is used on, in their imagery for various albums, but I just like it. It's simple and iconic. The skull with the mohawk, really cool. So yeah, awesome UK punk. That's Exploited with Let's Start a War. Okay. Now up next, moving from some punk to some black metal. With this next band, I couldn't decide between two album covers, so I'm just going to show them both. So this is my favorite black metal band of all time, Swedish black metal. So this is Marduk with La Grande Danse Macabre. So you see here, death is on the front, the skull-like image with the crown. And you can actually see in the booklet, there's a better picture of it, I think. Ah, yeah, you see the chalice made of bones and the skulls. That's really cool. And I can't remember where, I think it was on actually an alternative cover art. They show the full head, but anyway, I've always really liked this one. And this is an underrated album by Marduk. It's a bit different because all of the albums previously had been blistering and fast. This one they started to slow down a bit, doing some slower tracks. But yeah, Marduk with Le Grand Danse Macabre. And the other Marduk album that I'm going to show, containing skull-like imagery, this is ROM 512. Yeah, and as I've mentioned before, this is an album which actually took a while to grow on me, but I really like it now, and I've always liked this artwork with the skeletal figures on the front dancing and playing the flutes, holding the weapons. Yep, so 3 skeletal figures, and there's also some, pile of skulls in the coffin. Yeah, but yeah, I couldn't decide between these two Marduk albums, so I decided to include them both. Alright, so that's Marduk with ROM 512. Now, the next one, with this next band, I could have chosen any of their album covers, really, because their mascot or their icon is a skull-like image, and that's, of course, Vic. We're talking about Vic Rattlehead from Megadeth. The mascot, like the equivalent of Eddie for Iron Maiden. So Vic Rattlehead has a skull head, basically. But, yeah, Megadeth with Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. This was the first album, of course, and a lot of people think this album cover is a bit cheesy. I think even like Dave Mustaine mentioned, it didn't turn out the way they wanted. It looks like it was like a plastic skull and some ketchup, I think, and some just very fake looking weaponry. But I just love this album. Like, just raw, brilliant thrash metal, and I think the cover actually suits the nature and the sound of the music. So Megadeth with Killing Is My Business. Okay. Up next. Okay. We have Nocturnal Breed with Tools of the Trade. So if you're not familiar, Nocturnal Breed are a black thrash metal band from Norway, and it actually features some members, previous members from Dimmu Borgir, or people associated with it, but obviously very different to Dimmu Borgir, which is symphonic black metal. This is just fast, nasty black thrash, but really great stuff. I think this band is criminally underrated. So you see the skull-like image dominating the cover, and they also have a song on this album called Skeletor of Sin. Not skeleton, but Skeletor, as in the character from He-Man. And after the chorus, it's blistering and fast, like, "You'll never win, Skeletor of Sin." And then they include a sample of Skeletor's laugh, that wicked, you know, yeah, it's hilarious. So yeah, Nocturnal Breed with Tools of the Trade. Okay. Alright, up next. This is one I've talked about a few months ago. Here we have the split between Satanic Warmaster and Clandestine Blaze, two Finnish black metal bands, two one-man bands actually, and you see that image on the front, the skeletons and skulls. Really cool, and that suits the rawness of the music. What this is I think the two bands collaborating, so they include some tracks of their own, but they also perform together with some of these songs, yeah, for the first half of the album. So yeah, that's my next one. So Satanic Warmaster and Clandestine Blaze split. All right, now this next one I've actually shown in a thread before. So up next we have the Dutch death metal band. This is Severe Torture with Misanthropic Carnage. I showed this one in Mark from Wandering Souls webzines thread, which was Scream for Me VC. So that included some screaming images, but yeah, you can also see here, this is a rather charming cover, isn't it? But with a title like Misanthropic Carnage, what do you expect? But you see in the background there's skulls stacked on the shelves behind this scene of gore. So Severe Torture with Misanthropic Carnage. Okay, up next, this one might sound like a cliched choice, but I just love the artwork for this album. I always have. So an album everyone knows, Slayer with Seasons in the Abyss. And what I just love about this painting, it's sort of like this oil canvas painting, but just the primitive nature of it, I've always found this really eerie and sinister. So yeah, and it's a very iconic cover. Like, it's one of those ones that everyone looks at it and just says, oh yeah, Slayer, Seasons in the Abyss. Yeah, brilliant album, probably my favorite one by Slayer. As I've mentioned, even though I don't like the title track so much, but apart from that, awesome album. So nice iconic cover, Slayer with Seasons in the Abyss. Alright, God, I think this might be a record. This might be the fastest video I've ever done. Alright, and last CD for today. Up next, Torture Killer with Swarm. So if you're not familiar, Torture Killer are a death metal band from Finland, and what's interesting is they modeled themselves on Obituary, and particularly 6 Feet Under. They were inspired a lot by that, and on this particular album it actually features Chris Barnes on lead vocals. He also produced the album, and it's just awesome. Like, they play a similar style to 6 Feet Under, but you know, dare I say it, honestly, I think musically it may actually be a bit better. Like, just awesome riffs in this music. But Chris contributed the lead vocals on this album and some of the lyrics, and it's just brilliant. Like, it's one of my favorite death metal albums, I think. Just so fun, so catchy. But you see on the front here, quite iconic, the decomposing corpse and the swarming flies, but pile of skulls underneath and more skulls on the back. So yeah, great stuff. Torture Killer with Swarm. Okay, now just going to the records, just two to show you today. These are two I've shown before. So up first we have Carpathian Forest with Morbid Fascination of Death. So that's an appropriately morbid cover, and you can see here, apart from the weaponry and spikes, it's just loaded with skulls. So appropriate for that title. Brilliant album of symphonic, semi-symphonic, atmospheric Norwegian black metal. So that's Carpathian Forest, Morbid Fascination of Death. Alright, and the last one I'm going to show today, this is one I've also shown, but yeah, I had to include it for a skull theme. This is Cemetery Urn with Barbaric Retribution. So you see that, I just love this kind of artwork. Yeah, it's basically skeleton and skull oriented, but yeah, the skeleton with the piece of material draped over it, the skull like features in the background, and the skull's there, and more skulls on the back. So Cemetery Urn are a barbaric death metal band from Australia, formed by some of the guys from the band, the war metal band Abominator, but this is just relentless heavy brutality. It's a bit different to Abominator. Abominator is more chaotic, this is more slower and heavier, but if you like death metal, death doom metal, definitely check this out. So Cemetery Urn with Barbaric Retribution. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. They're my 12 albums featuring skulls on the front. So I did watch other people's videos and I tried to include different things, you know, just because people don't want to see the same thing again and again. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Marty, once again, thanks very much for coming up with this thread, and congratulations on reaching 400 subs. It's well deserved. So yeah, I really enjoy watching your channel. So thanks very much for creating this competition, and I'll be back soon with the next video. So see you later, guys. In the meantime, take care. As always, thanks for your support of the channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.